Sorry about that. Wait now. When you're looking for that dream car you desire for, it is so easy to forget to really check for fault and problems. So that's why I'm giving you an easy buyer's guide, not to go out there and do something foolish. Let's start with why you are buying the car and for what purpose. For a starter, is buying a C5 Corvette a really bang for the bucks? You get a well-balanced car with great reliability, and if something goes wrong, there's a lot of parts out there, both new and used. If you're buying it for weekend driving on a sunny day, maybe once a month, I think a car with a good service record and as little as possible with those do-it-yourself things on the car, that's what you should be looking for. And remember that a low mileage car isn't always the best car, though moving parts should be used not to break when you put pressure on them. And now it's time to dig a bit deeper in buying and what is good to think about. Most likely, if you're looking at this video, you have come to the conclusion that the C5 is a pretty good car to buy. So now it is up to us to find the perfect one. But I don't know. I think mine is pretty dirty now. I will start with cleaning it up first. So, and as you know, there's a lot of Corvettes out there. So before you go ahead and visit somebody to check it out, be sure to be a little detective and check how many owners there is and the car's history by maybe looking how long time the last person have had it, and if the one before that also has a very short ownership. So be aware of that in that case, I must say. So the first thing I want you to do when you're arriving at the car scene and you have spoken to the owner, ask to loan the key, get inside and turn it, and don't start it. Let the thing do the thing and press until you have a blank screen like that. Then you press and hold number 4 and press fuel. Brake before shift. It's always something. As I said, number 4 is that one, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the car will read its own codes. This is where I'm gonna fast forward a bit, because if there's a C showing up and a few numbers, you have a current code, there is a problem somewhere. And if there's an H, there's a history code. So you can see if there's been something going on, and if you have both a C and an H, it's a current and a history. You see there we have a history code. So I would say that it's pretty good to know, because this one sometimes just throws code that's irrelevant. Mine has thrown codes about the electric shears and seats. I mean electric seats, and so it's good to know that you can clear the codes and check for yourself if they're coming back. Then you know it's a problem. And while we're talking about it, you know that Corvette has some kind of bad ground due to the chassis and everything, so often there are electric problems, but often they are not big problems. They are just hard to find, because almost every time there is something with the grounding to the chassis, so you have to find that. And I'm going to try to give you a picture here so you can see where the main ground points are. And now, when you've done the codes and it still feels like you have an interested object, let the owner start the car, and while you are talking with him, let it idle and listen to it for I don't know, maybe it takes 10-15 minutes for you to speak with him about tires and everything, you know. You can hear the sound if you hear something strange. It often takes some minutes to discover it. And the best thing is when you are taking the test drives. After the talk, you have a warm engine, which is much better than just starting it up and driving away. That can be a bad idea sometimes. When you're checking the outside, you can also check around the windows. If, in my case, I'm using high pressure, then you can see where they most oftenly leak, somewhere around here or here. See, I've been doing the high pressure. This is intact when rain and stuff comes, so it's a good one. So check under the carpets and things if there's some moisture or something, then you know the windows are leaking. It's nothing you're gonna like in the long run if you don't have the opportunities like me to have it inside all the time. And now, before we take the car out for the test drive, let's thoroughly go through the outside, under the hood, and the inside, of course. So, the outside. Check for any major injuries that may have occurred somewhere in the past. So, when you're lifting the hood, check every corners, every string here, so you can see maybe some tape line if they have been repainted. And also lift the boot. So check the lines here also, see if something is repainted. Check the exhaust system all the way, so you haven't done any rust holes or something. And the good thing is to take your phone today, not when I was young. You have a phone you can switch and put under the car. Maybe you put it on some long board, just lay it there, put it under, check for any damages, see how, in your best knowledge, check under the side, see if it feels straight. It may have been in a crash and been not so good redone. Then it's a disaster. And for check tires, the rims, see if there's any damages around them. Look on the disc, brakes, see how much it is left for you to brake. And while you have the camera on some board or something, see if you can discover any leakage, see if there's any oil or something underneath. And of course, when you're backing up the car, see if it's any drips on the floor. And check the pop-out lights so they go up and down as they should. And don't be afraid. If they squeak a bit, you can get parts for it, not too expensive. So it's something you can take down the price a bit. And now when the hood is up, start checking every oil or any other fluids. So check them if there's enough in them. Beware of taking notice. Even here, have a lamp with you to see better on the dark sides. See if it's properly done, if it's like this one, a better airflow filter. It's not always better to have a new one. And here you have something you really should be thinking of and checking out, because it is a possibility that the battery have been leaking maybe in the past. This will drop down on the brain on the car and may injure something. So have a lamp, put a light down, you can see if there's anything. Yeah, you will notice. If there is something, you will see it. Check the oil. See, you can press on the gauges in to see the condition. It will say in percentage how good the oil are. But be aware of, you can cheat with that, because you can make it 100% by yourself, as in the self-diagnose. So if it says maybe 97 or more, and you are looking at the oil and the oil is freaking black, then you know there's something going on here. So don't just rely upon it. And just under here is one of the reasons you may try to avoid the 97 to 2001 models, because the EBCM, electric brake control module, can fail. And this one is out of production since very long. And the newer models are also out of production, but they are still available and they are much easier to repair if you have to do it. So that's one of the reasons. And another reason you should, if you can avoid it, is that, as you know, with all car models, the newer they are, the better the version is. And the engine got a few updates that make it even better than in the beginning. So that's also a reason why you can and should choose a later model. When talking about manual or automatic gearboxes, there is, as I know, a stronger version of the torque tube on the manual ones. So that's the third why you should choose a newer model. But as far as I know about the automatic, they are pretty reliable, but you of course have to check them. And if the car is tuned in a high level, there may be some issues with the automatic. And in my opinion, if I can say, I think the automatic is a bit slow in terms of the programming that is from the late 90s, when the restrictions were hard because of the emissions and everything. So it will change gears like if you're an old man and will try to drive economically. So that's my thinking of the gearing in it. But I'm not the expert on automatic, so I leave that to more experts, persons on it. And now, when you are at the inside, check it. There are so much electric in the car for being so old. You have all the new stuff in this old car. So check electrical seats function, check the power windows, the mirrors electric function, check the head-up display which you have here, check the cruise control, and thoroughly check the air condition so it will give you the nice cold feeling. Check the stereo, you know, check it all. And now it's time for the test drive. I would like you to take the car up to speed. First, try the brakes. Let go of the wheel, steering wheel, and push hard on the brakes. See that the car will, first of all, do the braking good and not going anywhere with the steering wheel. Secondly, test in the different gears. So you put it in number 1 and try to pull it hard. See that it grips as it should. Put it in second. Test it again. Pull it hard and see that the second bops in. Test them all the way through up to drive. Test the reverse and feel that it feels okay. Not that it's doing anything strange. It's hard, yes, I know, because I've been driving this for a time and still it feels sometimes that something is wrong because it is trying to shift up as quick as it can. That's why I'm suggesting you to use first, second, third, and then drive to see when the computer only has 2 gears to select, it won't upshift so quick. Then you get a better feeling for that it's shifting okay. And when that is done, click active handling, or if you have the knob to switch it, turn the traction off and see the reaction, see that the car really can do a burnout easily. Push it and keep it in so you get active handling and see how that responds. It gives the car a better feeling, a more sports car feeling, as I would say. Check the brakes with this one. This is often very high and takes not every time so very good. And overall, try out everything when you are there. Try the windshield washer at the fluid comes, check the lamps, check everything again and again, and do some hard pulls. Brake, hard pull. Take the steering and try it so it really do what it's supposed to do. Yes, that is what I think is what it should do. And of course, check all the gauges that they are function okay. And for one, think about the fuel gauges. There may be a problem with that one. It maybe give you a half a tank, so if you can, go and fill it up and see if it's stuck in some way. Go through, you can have the menu so you can see everything, the temperature on the engine, the coolant, and so on. So you can see if you pushed it hard. If you can, and it's a hot day, drive slowly, see if it overheats, and so on. You have to be thorough give it a time to really test it. Don't just drive it for 2 minutes and say, it's okay. Give it a time, because eventually problem that may occur, you maybe don't see it because the car has to be pushed and tested and so on. So try it, be patient with yourself, not to think that the owner is getting pissed at you. You have to accept it. And now, if you have the satisfaction to buy that dream car of yours, see to it that you use it and ride it. God damn it. That is what makes life worth